¿Es posible que hayamos visto ya tu último combate de peso pluma?
Sí, seguro. Seguramente que sí.
¿Te pasas al peso ligero?
Esta no la vi venir, Ilia.
Volkanovski y Holloway tampoco.
Is Ilia Topuria making a big blunder by vacating his featherweight title and moving up to lightweight?
Yeah, because Islam, he's a great fighter. He's the #1 pound for pound for the people, for me. It's me, myself. I'm the best fighter in the world.
The former featherweight king, the man who put Alexander Volkanovski to sleep, and outclassed Max Holloway, is taking the ultimate gamble by moving up to lightweight.
The title is vacated, and we will announce what Topuria's next fight will be when we get it done.
What are your thoughts on Ilia coming up and how lightweight looks with Islam teasing or maybe moving up at some point?
I think if Ilia goes out there and he fights like a Charles or even a DDP and he gets the win, there's no denying him, right? You have to get the title shot. Ilia could always go back down and say, it wasn't good enough for me.
His goal is to challenge Islam Makhachev and claim double champ status.
Did he vacate the belt, or did you guys say, if you're moving to lightweight, then we don't want to hold up the featherweight division?
No, he did that. He said, I've done everything I can do here. I'm ready to move up, and he vacated it. He said, I shouldn't be holding up anybody's opportunities, and it's always, I respect when guys do that.
I'm always looking to achieve things that no one could. So someone could submit him. I will be the first one to submit him.
But make no mistake, this is a high-risk, high-reward move. One wrong step, and Topuria could find himself lost in the unforgiving depths of the lightweight division, and clawing his way back up would be a monstrous task.
Islam is going to be a hard man to beat, like I think for anyone.
However, the risk is just as big as the reward, because if he beats Makhachev and wins the title, all hell will break loose.
And if anyone could do it, it is Ilia. Ilia's obviously got some dangerous hands. So for people to just count him out, it's like, man, he's got power in his hands. He's going to be looking for it. He's composed, and even if things aren't going his way, he's going to keep looking for it, keep trying to find it until he does or until he loses. So, he's dangerous, maybe for gas tank.
The question is, will he celebrate or regret this bold move when all's said and done? If Topuria gets his wish and fights Makhachev next, he'll be facing a monster unlike any he's ever encountered. Makhachev isn't just a grappler. He's a complete fighter who has dominated the division with suffocating wrestling, elite clinch work, and improving striking.
But Islam's choke must be otherworldly.
Yeah.
It must be otherworldly.
To do that to Charles?
Not just that, like the moment he's passing, Charles is tapping.
Yeah.
Like his squeeze has got to be off the fucking charts. I talked to DC about it, and I said, hey man, I go, his fucking squeeze must, he goes, oh dope. I had him demonstrate a choke on me, and I thought it was gonna be fun. They're like, show me how you do that, show me how you do it. He goes, dude, when he grabbed a hold of me, I was like, oh this guy's gonna choke me.
His ability to control opponents on the ground is unmatched, and his submission skills are lethal. Topuria's strengths are also clear as day. He has explosive boxing, devastating power, and his grappling is extremely underrated.
When I think of like a scary opponent, what makes me go, ooh, that's Ilia. Ilia gives me that, he can put your lights out, change life.
But does that translate against a master like Makhachev?
The only thing I need is one punch, and for sure that I'm going to connect that one punch.
Now, of course, Ilia Topuria is talking a lot of shit there, and that is exactly what you want to do.
Ilia is a tough fighter, someone who talks the talk and walks the walk. He's doing things, and I can see why he would want to challenge people, and I think a lot of people, he would be obviously a tough fight. And I think that what happens is a lot of fighters, whenever they get a belt and they wrap that, they have that belt wrapped around their waist, they start thinking up and down in the divisions, and you want to challenge things, but I think you have to be very careful.
If Topuria loses, it's not just an L on his record, it's a massive setback. He won't get an immediate rematch, and his aura of invincibility will take a bad dent. He'll be sent to the back of the line, forced to fight killers just to earn another shot. And that's where things get tricky. Whether you agree or not, lightweight is an absolute war zone filled with battle-hardened veterans and hungry contenders. It's way more stacked compared to featherweight.
And I've never seen him in person, but if he can make one, you know, everybody says he's heavy, he walks around heavy, but if he can make 145, I don't know how big he is, because some of these lightweights are huge.
If Topuria loses to Makhachev, he has to fight his way back up. And for that, he'd have to deal with names like Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, and Arman Tsarukyan.
He can stop the takedowns. I think his boxing is better than Islam's. I think he's a bigger puncher. Islam's technique is getting a lot better on the feet. He's kind of crafty and elusive. When I fought him, you know, he fought at a weird range, but I think the size difference is just too much.
Even if he wins, he'll have to go through the same names, and those are extremely dangerous guys. Poirier might be nearing the twilight of his career, but he remains one of the most dangerous strikers in the division. His boxing is crisp, his power is real, and his experience in 5-round wars is invaluable. And the Diamond thinks Ilia is perhaps too small for lightweight. Poirier thrives in dogfights, and if Topuria engages in a brawl, he could find himself in serious trouble. We've seen Poirier walk through fire before, and if he drags Topuria into deep waters, it could end badly for the former featherweight champ. We all saw how Conor McGregor's lightweight run went, even though he was tearing fighters down at featherweight. The power at featherweight differs from that at lightweight. Apart from Poirier, there's also Charles Oliveira, a man who's finished nearly every elite lightweight he's faced. His striking is sharp, his clinch game is vicious, and his jiu-jitsu's the best in the UFC. And the Brazilian thinks he can knock Topuria out cold. If Topuria ends up on the ground with Oliveira, the danger level skyrockets. Even if he dominates early, Oliveira has a knack for snatching victories from the jaws of defeat, and a loss to him would push Topuria even further down the pecking order. And let's not forget Arman Tsarukyan, a relentless grinder who's been sharpening his skills for years. He's younger, hungrier, and constantly improving. His wrestling is world-class, and his striking is catching up fast. A fight with Tsarukyan wouldn't just be tough. It would be a war of attrition for a guy like Topuria. Now, the worst-case scenario isn't even losing to Makhachev. It's losing before he gets there. If the UFC decides he needs to fight a top contender before getting a title shot, things get even riskier. A single loss to someone like Poirier, Oliveira, or Tsarukyan could kill his momentum entirely. And if he racks up multiple losses, his stock plummets. Suddenly, the hype train derails, and Topuria finds himself in no man's land. Too good to be ignored, but not good enough to warrant another shot at the belt. If that happens, even a return to featherweight wouldn't be easy. The division would have moved on, with his aura of invincibility gone. He might not get another quick shot at reclaiming his throne. Topuria's move to lightweight is bold, but it's also a do-or-die one. If he wins the belt, he cements his legacy as one of the greatest to ever do it.
Ilia Topuria, for the eighth time, talked about, called out Islam Makhachev. What is that about, guys? So,
and I just wanted your thoughts on Ilia Topuria vacating the featherweight title and coming up to lightweight. Do you think he's built for lightweight?
Yeah, I think he's a fighter, you know, especially with the confidence that he has right now with those wins over Max and Volkanovski. I think, you know, confidence is the biggest factor when you step in there. You have to believe, you know, in yourself first and foremost. And so, yeah, I think just made the most exciting weight class in this sport a little bit more exciting.
But if he loses, the road back is brutal. Every fight will be a battle, and every loss will push him further away from the dream. There's no safety net, no easy route. He's risked everything, and now he must prove that he belongs among the lightweight elite. There's no turning back, but Topuria has burned all the bridges because he has that one thing.
Don't want to tell you that's what Topuria does best. I really think it's his hands. I think it's his speed. I think his defense. I think it's his motion. I think it's his footwork. I mean, I think that he's really a beautiful talent to watch.
How far do you see Ilia Topuria going in the UFC featherweight division? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.